Welcome to The Abundance Journey, the show that helps spiritual entrepreneurs create an abundance mindset that accelerates revenue. Secretly, everything you experience in your life is actually abundance. Once you understand how to activate abundance, you find yourself in flow with your business and clients, so it's easy to create the revenue you want. The Abundance Journey is the only show that activates abundance for you, so you enjoy rapid results in your business. Here's your host, the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling.
Hey, are you ready for an incredible conversation? Yeah, it's Elaine Starling, the Abundance Ambassador, and I am so stoked. I've got Ely Delaney here. He's your Automated Systems Strategist. He's also known as the People Whisperer. He's the creator of the Follow Up Rockstar System. He teaches entrepreneurs how to go from surviving to thriving in any economy through the art and science of building strong relationships and following up for life. Yeah. He's not one of these, one and done guys. No, he really helps you understand how you can maintain an ongoing, compelling, engaging conversation with your best prospects and clients so they love working with you. Doesn't that sound great? I mean, there's no wonder that I love chatting with Ely every chance I get. He's also an Amazon bestseller. He's got 2 books, Marketing Tidbits and Networking Tidbits. Definitely check those out because they're really good. He's just got this compassionate, loving, passionate drive to connect people. His best-selling training course, Networking Like A Rockstar, has over 1,389 students registered globally. Ely helps speakers, authors, and coaches automate their follow-up and grow their business without having to have some kind of MBA from MIT or Princeton, okay? He makes it really, really simple. So you can follow up with people 24/7 with an automated system, and it really makes you look authentically, honestly you, and the rock star that you are. Is it any wonder I wanted to get Ely on the show? Ely, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It is my pleasure to come and hang out with you today.
Oh, what a blast. I always love visiting with you, Ely, because you've got so many great ideas. And I love how heart-centered you are and how compassionate you are and how supportive you are. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
This is a real passion for you. This is a real mission, like a life mission for you. How did you get started doing this? And why are you so incredibly passionate about it?
So, my first company was a web and graphic design agency. And I started that. It was almost 30 years now. When I started it, I barely, I worked for a small IT company. People were asking us about, hosting websites. We did have a service. We were comparable to a very tiny AOL at the time, the only guys that were really known at the time. And we were helping people host their websites. And then they're like, well, can you build websites for us? So I learned the ins and outs of building website. That's how I started that company. But the thing is that I knew how to build really pretty websites, but I didn't know how to get clients. And I started with getting into a chamber. And local chamber of commerce, got connected. I became the networking guy. I got known, actually, the chamber exec that I, after, God, for I don't even know how many years later, he's like, when Ely first started, he was so much into this. He wanted to make this work so much, he would show up to the opening of a letter. And that was how I was there for anything and everything. I was always building these relationships. Fast forward, that company, I ended up opening up an office. I had 5 employees. We're closing 3 to 5 contracts a week. Woo. Just networking, just connecting with people locally. And a lot of it had to do with follow-up. But at the time, I still didn't even know how powerful it really was until I ended up getting into the speaking world. Went to an event, saw a guy on stage. He's like, I like what he's doing. I want to do what he does. Then he sold something from stage, and I saw how many people went to the back of the room. I'm like, I definitely want to do that now. A whole different game. But when I started doing that as a speaker, I started getting out there, and I might have 100 people in the room. And I might have 10 people at the end of my presentation like, all right, this is perfect. I need to work with you. Here's my credit card. Let's do this, which is awesome. That's a 10% of a room. It's not bad if you're selling from stage. My brain immediately went to, what about the other 90%?
Yeah.
And I started building these systems to follow up with these people, and doing it in a relational process. And the technology was just barely getting there where I could actually build systems to automate a lot of it. And it's like nowadays, this is common. Everybody has the software. A lot of people have the software and don't even realize how powerful it is. But back then, it was not really heard of so much. But I knew if I'm out networking, I'm connecting with people, and I'm speaking on stages, I'm doing okay. But it's like, okay, how can I get more people to come in? And the more I started doing that, I started realizing I wasn't just getting 10% of people who were interested. I was getting 20. Because I get 10 there, I get another 10 after the fact, and then over time, I might get another 10 sometimes. And I was
Yeah.
always give or take based on the event and the people there. But I was finding that sometimes I'm actually closing 30% of the people in the room that are becoming clients of mine, not because of getting on stage, but what happened after the fact, the follow-up process, the fact that I actually picked up the phone and called them, or I emailed them, or I even actually did that thing called, sending a card or a letter, real mail.
How old fashioned.
I
I know. And,
know.
Eli, I think that's absolutely brilliant because people are not always ready to make the purchase.
Yeah.
They often need to do more research, or they need more information, or they need to feel like they know you better, or they really want to understand your approach and your process and how you think about things. So, yeah, that follow up, they always say the fortune's in the follow up, and no joke, it
Right.
really
Well,
is.
and I want to touch on what you just said there, because one of the things that over time, I started studying psychology and how humans really think and how they react. And then we go through and we've heard about all the different personality profiles that are out there, like DISC, Myers-Briggs, all that kind of stuff. And you realize there is a portion, one of the four major quadrants in every one of these tests, right? One of them, these are the people that will not make a decision today. No matter what.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. They
You
have
can't
to
make
think
me.
on
You
it.
can't make me.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
they have to process the data. And sometimes that processing of the data may take them a few weeks or even a few months. There's also not getting into the personality side, but going into the, I guess I would almost call it more the lifestyle side, is there are people that are much more on the spiritual side that I've actually had people that need to go talk to their shaman before they bought anything. And you have to have that. Or
Yeah.
you have the people that today, they don't honestly have the money. They know they want to work with you. They really want to. They thought that what you did was awesome, but they're just not financially able to. And we all know that, we hear that whole thing is most of the time it's not about the money, even if they say it's about the money. Sometimes it is actually about the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you never know what could
Yeah.
happen. Somebody may be broke today and get an inheritance tomorrow. I've actually had that happen. I've had people go through and like all of a sudden they come out of nowhere and like, you know what? I've been wanting to work with you for 6 months now, but I just didn't have the funds to do it. But I had this thing come up and I got some extra funds. I want to invest in this. I want to invest in you because I know you're going to help me grow my business. But I
Wow.
had to stay in front of them to make that happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I need to draw the connection here because obviously I love what you're talking about. I totally get what you're talking about. I'm a big believer in the follow up and being present for people and helping nurture people where they are so that they can take advantage of the opportunities that are available to them at the right time for them.
Yes.
So obviously we're talking about the abundance journey here, and no two people define abundance the same way. But given what you do around follow-up, around nurturing relationships, how would you define abundance?
There's a couple of factors with that, but I'll go with the most simple piece. I have an abundance of people. And, for anybody who's watching the video thing of this, right above my head, it says meet cool people. That is one of the things I love to do. I love to meet people because people are fascinating. Again, I study human psychology. I understand. I love to sit down and hear what is it that makes people tick and what gets them excited and what got them into their business and all that kind of stuff. And for me, that's one of the major things is the abundance of people and ideas, because human beings are so creative and we can come up with so many different things. The great thing about that is that leads to all the other things, because I can work with somebody and hear their story, their journey, what's going on, and what kind of cool ideas they're coming up with. And then that helps me become more creative in order to come up with ideas that help them with their follow-up process so they can make those ideas more reality. To me, that is abundance. That's what means so much to me.
I love what you just heard, because what I heard was the abundance of collaboration.
Yes.
You're showing up with this delight. I call it, yeah, baby energy, where you're just excited, delighted, enthusiastic about meeting somebody. You don't know where the relationship's going to go. And that's not the focus of your attention. You're really there to understand them and add value to them. Yeah. And when you have that kind of an approach, people don't feel like you're, bullying them into buying, right? They really feel like you're there for them.
That is you just said something very, very critical. And everything I do is really about this. It's not about how do I pitch them all the time. I have this joke is like, so many people in business are what we call pitch pirates, meaning the only time we ever hear from them is when they want our booty. Okay. We don't want that. We want to stay away from that. We don't want to be that person, because then you train people, because again, it's psychology. You are training the people that you communicate with that the only time they hear from you is if you're going to try to sell them something. If you do that, you will train them to tune you out. I have people who do that. I have people who are friends of mine. I don't even read their texts, because I know they're pitching me something, because literally 1 out of maybe 30, 40 messages of them is actually something to me as opposed to a pitch.
Oh, wow.
And the sad thing is that they could change how they talk and how they communicate, still using the same technology they already have and they already use, but they could turn around and make it so it feels like they actually took the time to pay attention to me personally. And that would totally shift everything. And that's why everything we do, I love automation. I love the technology we have available today. I literally have a campaign that runs for 3 years. My joke is I could go outside and get hit by a bus today and still sell you stuff for 3 more years. But the reality is all of that runs just like clockwork. But when people get those emails, they feel like I stopped and I sent it to them. I want them to respond. I want them to reply to me. And I'll ask questions that are like, what are you working on? What's something cool that happened last week? I would love to hear what's going on. And they reply back to me, and that starts a dialogue. And that dialogue is a cool conversation. And we want to go back to the business standpoint. Conversations are what leads to sales.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about a conversation. It's not about a pitch. There's a big difference between the idea behind it.
It's so interesting, because you've met those people who send, they don't receive.
Yeah.
Right? And you want to be able to have that back and forth dialogue, that interactive dialogue that's mutually beneficial, because you know more about your clients and your prospects as you have that dialogue. You have a better understanding of what their needs are, what their interests are, what their priorities are, so you can serve them better. Yeah. And it almost reminds me of what am I thinking of? It's where you have your own keyword terms of what I'm interested in, and so they serve you ads that are relevant to you and things that you truly want to know.
Retargeting.
Yeah, so you don't get spammed by junk that's totally irrelevant. It's almost like you're able to do that with your prospects. The more you have that interaction, the more you have that dialogue, the more you can serve them. So I love that. I really love that. So Ely, I've got a question for you, because I have noticed that when we want our external world to change, there's always something inside that has to change first. And a lot of us are nervous about, how do I show up and be real and authentic? And yes, I want to create that dialogue. I want to create that relationship. And the bottom line is I still have to make sales. I still have to make money with my business. So what has to change inside for me to be able to show up authentically and real and not too salesy, where I can be myself and I can still lead to the purchase decision.
Okay, so it's a lot easier than people think. And we as human beings, going back to psychology, we overthink everything. Like we have to make it complicated. So reality is people want to know that they trust you, that you're an expert, and you can solve their problem. The kicker is that most people focus on the I can solve your problem, which is valid, but that's not the only factor that creates a buying decision. People buy off of emotion. So the emotion is, do I trust this person? So if you can establish yourself as you share tips, tricks, resources, things that add value and make their life easier, you're going to add the credibility, which creates the expertise, and it increases the likability factor. We've all heard the KLT, know, like, and trust. Okay. They have to get to know you before they can like you. And then when they like you is when they decide if they trust you. Here's literally lawyers and doctors are the only ones that can get away without us liking them before the rest of it. Okay.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before. And it's so true. Doctors and lawyers are the only ones who can get away because we need what they have, right?
Exactly.
So they can be total jerks and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Awesome. But the rest of us have to work for our dinner, right?
We do.
And so it's all about having that conversation and dialogue and come from a place of just like, you know what, here's something cool. Try this, have some fun with it. Let me know how it works, because that's just a little bit. That's the tip of the iceberg. Get people results. Something I actually learned from one of the other great internet marketers, been around forever, a guy by the name of Frank Kern. And the best thing that I learned from him, he's a very super smart dude. But one of the things that I learned from him that was so powerful was the best way to show people you can help them is by helping them. It's really simple. So you add value, you share tidbits of information that shows that credibility. And then what happens is people start to trust you. The walls start coming down. They start paying more attention to what you do, whether it's sending them an email, sending them a text, watching what you post on social media. It doesn't matter where the medium comes from, but they start paying more attention to what you do. And they're like, all right, well, when they truly click that they have a problem that they need solved, you want to make sure that you have built so much trust along the way that when that happens, you're the person they think of.
That makes perfect sense. It does. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
A great example of this is back in my web design company. I had a gal who reached out to me one day. We were at a meeting and she was like, hey, can you come by the office after this meeting? I'd like to talk to you about building a website. So I ended up going over there, talked to her and her husband. We put something together. And I was like, so what's different? Because I've known you for ages. She's like, yeah, I've known you for over 10 years. It's like, okay, cool. So what changed? She goes, we've been working with the franchise. We're moving away from the franchise pretty soon. They're doing some weird stuff. We know we're going to have to go out on our own. I was like, okay, so why me? She goes, Ely, I've known you forever. And you always are adding value. You're always helping people out, even if it has nothing to do with what you do. I completely trust you, and I wouldn't think of hiring anybody else.
That's high praise.
Yeah, that's powerful.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And the cool thing is that takes the pressure of the sale off of it. When you can establish yourself as that and have that feeling where people want to come to you and they trust you because they know that you're an expert. They know you're smart at what you do and that you can solve the problem, but they trust that you actually care about them.
Yeah.
You become the choice. So when they are ready, because again, some people are ready today, some people, they just take their time and you never know when it's going to happen. It could be, I've literally had a guy come back 10 years and 3 months later.
Wow.
And referred his son's business to me.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And, and it was all, and his first thing was a reply to one of my emails, which was part of my system. He says, Ely, I've been on your list for a couple of years now. You've done so much to help me out. Thank you so much. My son's starting a construction company. I'm wondering if you can help us with some marketing stuff. Again, starts a dialogue, has a conversation. Conversations lead to sales. That's what we like. But I go in my database, my CRM system. For anybody who doesn't know, CRM is basically your database of all people. And I go in there and I look up what does quote unquote a couple years mean. He had seen me speak. Now, this email came to me September 16th of 2020. This email that he had seen me speak July 3rd, 2010.
Wow.
10 years and 3 months later, he's coming back. After him seeing me speak at an event in Scottsdale, Arizona, July 3rd, 2010.
And I want to speak to that too, because I think a lot of us think, oh, okay, I have to have 6 weeks worth of emails, right?
Oh, no.
You had over 10 years, 10 years worth of emails. Eli, I bow down to you. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. No. And that you have 3 years of emails all set up like an automated nurturing program that will just live on forever. I am so impressed. I'm trying to find that many things to say and that many different ways to say it. Wow. Good on you.
And I've created a methodology behind it that makes it easy to work. And that's what I do when I help clients, is helping them come up with that to make it like, this is not overly complicated. This is stuff that you can put together in your spare time, a little bit at a time, build onto it. And next thing you know, like when I built it, I didn't build 3 years all at once. I built it over time. And then it's over time, it's been tweaked and modified, and I've added stuff to it and made it better. Sometimes I'll go back like once a year and read through the emails. I look back and go, oh God, that was awful. I need to fix that one and rewrite it, So you'll have those things that happen, but you don't have to do it all at once, but you take it over time. And next thing you know, you've got this wonderful, I like to compare it to a pocket watch. If you look at a gear, you open a pocket watch, if you've ever seen those, and you look at them, they're really complex, kind of crazy looking. It's a piece of art, really. But if you look at it, all it is a gear. It's just a little circle with some pointy things sticking out of it. That's all it is. Very simple, not complicated. But then you add another one, and all it is just another circle with some pointy things sticking out of it. And now those two work together. And you just keep layering another one and another one and another one a little bit over time. And eventually you have an amazing masterpiece that's sitting there, and it just works. And your entire job is to just get in front of people and just bring them into the system. Let the system work. Whether that be beautiful. Speaking on stage or podcasts, or if you do Facebook advertising, it doesn't matter where they come from, but you just kind of bring them in and let the machine do its thing, knowing that you're adding value and encouraging a conversation.
I love that. I really love that. So if there was just one tip that you could give us to kind of get us going or get us thinking in the right direction, what's one tip that you'd like to share with us today?
Okay. I'm going to give you a script for an email you can send out like right now. So be ready to write this down. Listen to it 10 times if you have to. It's really straightforward. Number 1, the subject line is, I'm such a slacker. Okay? Have some fun with it. Don't be too staunchy. Have some fun with it. I'm a slacker. Then your content is like, hey there, I have been such a slacker and I haven't followed up with you the way I should have. I've promised to do better this year, and that's going to start with talking to you. I would love to hear what you've been up to. What kind of cool things have been going on? Just reply back, let me know. And then sign it.
I love that. Now, not to worry, because I am going to make sure that the transcript of this conversation is in the show notes. So this entire email that he just described for you is going to be in the show notes. I absolutely love that, because I'm guilty as charged. I have not been good about keeping up with the people that have connected with me. And I've also done free gifts and giveaways where I get these people in, and now what? I have to find a way to foster that relationship and get it going. So I absolutely love that idea. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm going for the gusto here, because you also talked about a free gift that you have for us. And I think this would be a really good time for us to talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So I created something a while back called the Follow Up Blueprint. And it's something that I've given away to help people out. It's about kind of the foundations of follow-up and how to pay attention how to segment people down, because you don't talk to everybody the same way, and it changes the mindset of everything. But here's the fun thing about this. As of 2020, when our whole world kind of blew up on us, I ended up creating a mini course that I've added as part of it called How to Network Online. And basically, it is how to connect with people and build relationships online like you would in face-to-face meetings. Because at the time, I'm a face-to-face networker. I love getting with people, hanging out. I have actually been known for getting dinners for 10 or 15 people and just getting to know each other really well. It's kind of how the meet cool people thing came to be. It was like, I just love traveling across the country and meeting cool people. And, oh yeah, I speak and sell stuff too. It was kind of an afterthought, right? And so the How to Network Online course, it's just a mini course. It's just to kind of get you some starting points, but how to get out there and find places to connect with people, and then how to build those relationships. And then the next step is building the follow-up process to that, because that's always just the very beginning of the relationship.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, I will definitely make sure that the link to get access to that free gift is in the show notes. And I believe you said it was connectwithely.com that we can find that link.
Very simple. Connect with Ely. By the way, for everybody listening, Ely is ELY. That's very important. So it's connectwithely.com and ELY, not ELI.
And that'll be in the show notes along with the description of this wonderful gift. Thank you. I cannot wait to go through this and implement the follow-up blueprint. And this is definitely right up my alley. And it is a huge form of abundance too, because there's nothing like people feeling recognized, feeling heard, feeling seen, feeling valued. And that's what you're doing through this entire system.
It's all about making people feel like you care. That's all it is. It's not that complicated. I mean, yes, there's some methodology and there's psychology that goes into just the right words, the right time and stuff like that. But the reality is it boils down to, in its most basic form, how do you make people feel like you actually care about them?
Yeah.
That's all
great.
It really is. And I always tell people, it's like, you should care about the people you work with. And if you don't, fake it. But at least fake it well. But try to care about the people you work with, because it makes life so much easier.
It does. Ely, I love your sense of humor. You are just a marvelous guy. And it really brings me to the next point, which we here at The Abundance Journey love to support our fabulous guests like you. I mean, you are doing such a huge service to the world by helping us collaborate together and support each other. What can we do to support you?
You know what you can do? This is what means the world to me. Go use the magic script. Okay, the magic script is a script that I'm a Slacker email that I just sent. Okay, go use it. And then when you go to connectwithely.com, it's a hub. You can find all my contact information, all the social media. You can even text me or you can book a call on my calendar. I don't care. All this stuff is all on there. Somehow connect with me. Tell me you saw me on this show and tell me the results you got by sending that email. Okay. It is so powerful. I had one person send this out and she actually had like 2 more emails that are supposed to go out. She ends up canceling them. She's like, Ely, how do we stop this? And I'm like, okay, what's wrong? I'm picking up the phone calling her. What's wrong? She goes, everybody replied. Everybody replied. Her calendar was booked solid for the next month and she made over $12,000 in sales by the end of the week with that email that didn't sell anything.
Wow.
And that's just one story. This is my favorite one because this is so funny. The whole, how do we stop it? Everybody responded. But just, go do it. I have so many stories like that. And I love collecting those. So if you want to help me out, go take action on it and then let me know the results you got. That means the world to me because I love hearing those stories.
That is wonderful. Ely, you are such a blessing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for energizing us with this spirit of contribution and collaboration, because I think it's missing for a lot of conversations these days. People tend to talk at each other instead of with each other. So thank you for bringing that in. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to be here. I love it.
Excellent. Well, everybody stick around because we're about to activate abundance. So are you ready to activate abundance in every single area of your life? Well, you can get in flow with your business and your clients. It's as easy as you can imagine to create the kind of revenue you really want in your business. You can join me for the Abundance Journey 6-week training and coaching program that help you turn your problems into prosperity. Just visit theabundancejourney.com to sign up for our next adventure. My gosh, Ely is amazing. I loved everything he had to say, and there were so many different things. It's always hard to do the Activate Abundance process after someone awesome like that. But you know me, I'm up for the challenge. And step one is always gratitude. I mean, you felt Eli's heart, right? You felt how much he cares about helping people out there make a difference in their business, in their life, and for their clients. He's not thinking about how much money can I get today and stick in my pockets right now. His focus is on how can I serve? How can I collaborate with other people? And I find that just so refreshing and so uplifting. I'm deeply grateful that that is the vibe Ely always comes from. I've known this guy for a little while, and he blows me away every single time I talk to him. So step one is gratitude. Step two is acknowledge something you heard that you maybe kind of got a new perspective on or a new aha from. And the key thing that I heard today that I thought was really important to pay attention to is this whole idea that an email campaign is part of a collaboration that you have with your prospects and clients. I was really intrigued with this whole idea of creating a dialogue with your prospect by asking them questions and getting them to respond to you. All the emails that I typically see, the majority of them, it's like a bunch of information shoved at you, and they don't want to hear from you unless you're ready to buy something. This idea that you actually have an open dialogue and a supportive, mutually beneficial conversation, that's kind of revolutionary in my world. So I definitely want to acknowledge that concept. And then step three is appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Because when you're showing up to collaborate, to support one another, to help each other, you benefit. Even if you don't make a sale, you benefit from understanding their needs, understanding what's holding them back, understanding their priorities. And that way you can shape your product, your service to help them even more. Or you can refer something else to them that could really help them. It allows you to be more supportive when you get more clarity on what they truly need help with. That makes sense, right? Okay, because it is a dialogue. It's not just a cookie cutter, one size fits all. That's a really novel idea, I think. Step one's gratitude. Step two is acknowledge something you heard that could make a difference. Step three, appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Step four, activate abundance. There's two different ways you can activate abundance. The first way is you get your calendar and you actually schedule something on the calendar, like that incredible email that Ely just did for us called I'm Such a Slacker in your headline, the subject line, I'm Such a Slacker email. This is really brilliant because it's a way for you to reach out to your existing list and reactivate them. So you definitely want to put on your calendar, when are you going to send out your I'm a Slacker email? Okay. The other way to activate abundance is to give yourself a trigger, a reminder. So maybe you put a couple of fingers together or you tug on your earlobe as a reminder. Every single email is a dialogue. It's a collaboration. And definitely check out Ely's website to get some more ideas and more inspiration on things that you can do that foster that sense of trust, that know, like, and trust that he was talking about. So those are the two different ways that you activate abundance. You put it on the calendar and you give yourself a trigger. Either one of those is a really effective way to go. Step 5, celebrate your progress. This is awesome. You now have a script you can use for an email you can send out today. You've got access to some really great resources. The free gift that Ely mentioned is absolutely fabulous. How to network online, as well as the follow-up blueprint. You definitely want to download both of these. I'm going to, and then send Ely a video or an email letting him know the difference that it made in your business, because it can make a big bottom line difference when you start having that open dialogue, that open conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today. Isn't it fun when you activate abundance? Abundance is everywhere. When we start activating it, we get to enjoy even more of it. I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.